My kid graduated from the university on Saturday. It was an eventful day. It was so adventurous. I didn't know whether I should even share it because I know it was all spiritual. Nevertheless, he graduated, and it was a major that you and I probably could not have excelled at the top school in the state. Yes, that would be computer science. Some of you are like, no, I have something harder than that. Well, whatever. So we get to the graduation without any issue, even though, it's like 5 hours away from our home. A group of friends trail us. They came all the way from Illinois, where we used to live. And then some other friends also came down from where we live in Arkansas. So we're all there, and we're happy for him. At the end of the graduation, I had difficulty finding him along with my daughter and son and husband. But we did find the graduate and was able to take pictures with him. My daughter said that was the first sign of trouble, but that's no big deal. There were a lot of graduates, so that was okay. But then we get to our vehicle. It doesn't start. Okay, so we buy a battery. It's too large. Have to go back, get another battery that fits, put in it, because we're thinking that's what it is. We don't know. The person putting it in is not sure, but it starts. However, it doesn't run properly. It's almost jerky and stop and go, and stop altogether, and then go again, then stop, to the point we had to have it towed. So my husband gathers that it's because of the gas. Now, normally we would put the gas recommended by the dealer into that car, and that would be, Shell. And not just any gas. Like my son was like, oh, you mean, like the top gas, the amount that you pay, prime or whatever it's called. And I said, no, the dealer said Shell. But we chose not to do that this one particular time. And I'm unsure. I'm thinking because the family friends who were following us out of Chicago, they were following us, but that's the gas station we chose. And we didn't want to stop maybe at another one for fear of being late for the graduation. I'm not sure why we just didn't go where we're supposed to, but we did not. I digress. So we had to get it towed. The man said it's going to be a lot of money, like $2,000 plus. So it should be towed, and it should come back here today, and today happens to be Monday. And I guess the person who's fixing it, he'll flush it from his old gas, and we'll put in the proper gas. And with that new battery and an oil change, perhaps it will work. We shall see. Alrighty. So with that said, it was also interesting returning. Now we ate a big, nice meal. We have no problem going to Golden Corral. We enjoyed it. It was fresh food. It was delicious, okay? But that means you're going to get sleepy, driving this 5 extra hours back to where we live in Arkansas. So, as we are driving along, my husband, as always, he needs to take a nap. Now, that wouldn't be a problem if it was just us. But again, our friends were trailing us. This friend, I guess he didn't need a nap. I mean, he probably woke him up within 15-20 minutes and said, it is time to go. Let's get back on the road. Now, their hotel was, again, in the town where we live. And we just want to get home. So we get back on the road, but he's veering off the highway, kind of zig and zagging. And that friend calls him to see why. And I'm thinking, because he's sleepy. So anyway, with this zigging and zagging, and then he gets a little better. You know, he gets some coffee at this gas station. Everywhere we stop now, this friend stops. So we stopped for coffee. And my husband was doing a little bit better, but he got stopped by the police as many times. Keep in mind, this kid has been at the university for 4 years. We have never, ever been stopped by the police. And my husband's like, I know I wasn't, going above the speed limit. I was not speeding. And I was thinking, don't argue with the man. Whatever he says, okay? The police is really nice. He happened to be a young white guy. He just said your light was out and I'm just going to give you a warning. Of course, he needed his license to run his name. See, I guess if he's a criminal. So, he gives us the warning. And then we move on. And my husband is still very tired, right? He's worried about this light. So he stops to get the light bulb. But it is not at this gas station, right? And that friend stops there. And I think we stopped one more time with my husband still trying to get it together because he never got his nap in. Nevertheless, we finally get home. However, that friend and his family goes to their hotel, and my daughter says, hey, you guys got the keys? Like house keys. He says no, that he left his keys inside of the car that we drove to the graduation that now is, in that city. And I looked in my purse and through my bag that I brought with my book and drinks. I don't have the key either. So then now we need to get a hotel. So he tries to get the hotel, I'm gathering, because he went in the same hotel where they were staying, which was, top notch. And I guess that was a bit expensive. So, we went to our Holiday Inn that I enjoy because I enjoy their free breakfast. So, hey, fine with me. But then I happened to, as he was getting ready to check in, I happened to look at my daughter's purse. She had that transparent purse that you need to take everywhere when you're going to games and so far. And I said, are those my keys? And, and I have that little big tag on it, like this thick string with my name on it. And I'm like, those are my keys. She takes them out and she's like, hey, Dad, here are the keys. And, he had basically begged the lady and shared our story, even to get a hotel, because when you're local, you cannot get a hotel. Did you guys know that? I had heard of that before. They think that the locals would just come into the hotels and take rooms from travelers out of country, out of state. So I gather it. I mean, I really do get it. And I hope I don't lose my video by going through this. So I'm going to pause from talking so that I can continue. Okay, now, as I was saying, so the lady didn't want us to come in anyway, and fine, because we ended up getting the keys to the house, and then we were finally able to go to the house, and our day of my kids' graduation was officially over. Oh, I forgot one little thing. While we were leaving, we probably had gotten no more than 10, 15 minutes out of Fayetteville. My kid calls, and that's the truck I'm driving right now, since my car had to be left behind in that city. He says he left the keys, meaning his house keys, on the key ring. So we had to turn around and go back and give him his keys and then continue on. So that was so interesting that I know I'm going to sit down and write it down. It's definitely a short story that could easily become a book. But it is definitely a day to remember. And we can help but to think that it was spiritual. And my husband said it wasn't meant for him to graduate, but he did, by the grace of God, with his effort, determination, and our prayers, he did. And I remember when, in the midst of all this happening, and we knew we had to go to the hotel, and I was going through my bag and didn't see my keys, I was the one, I recall, who started praying first. I said, Lord, we thank you We thank you for our kid graduating today. We thank you that he's alive, that we're alive, that there were no incidents and accidents on the road, that we get to walk into our house eventually, which we did that night. And then my husband prayed as well, and we really, got at peace and let it go. And as they know at work, I will laugh at the most inopportune times, and I even did a little giggle because it was a lot. So I said it to you, regardless of the situation, what you are going through, just think about you are still alive. You are still here to make better decisions the next day, to foresee the blessings that are coming into your life in the near future. Because the way that graduation started was with the loss of someone who should have been graduating. That person's parents, they look pretty youthful, thin and slim. They might have been in their 40s. To have, a 20 plus year old graduating. And of course, they were wiping their face of tears, and they accepted his degree or her degree. I think it was a he. And they left. Everybody who was a part of that group, that party that's celebrating that deceased graduate, they all left together, and they had taken up, somebody's crossing. They had taken up a first row on the opposite side of us. So I thought about that too, when I was saying that prayer. So you get another opportunity to excel in life. You get another opportunity to be here on earth for your family. You get another opportunity to make it all better. So I'm closing in on work, and I'm early. Thank God. Have a great day. And school is almost out. We have this week and next week. An even better week, an even better month, and even a hopeful year. Peace and blessings. Have a good one.